This video is for you if you often find yourself pleasing others at the cost of your own well-being. Hey everyone, I'm Maika. I'm a psychologist. Welcome to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. Today I want to discuss too much people-pleasing, what causes it, and how to stop it. The signs of too much people-pleasing. Doing something for someone else can be a wonderful thing. However, we all have limits. And when we ignore those limits to keep pleasing others, that has negative consequences. Signs of too much people-pleasing can be feeling trapped, having frequent fantasies of escaping from your life, job, or certain relationships. Mostly being acutely aware of the needs of others. Not having a clear sense of who you are and what you want. Always prioritizing other people's needs over your own. Getting irritated and annoyed quickly. Feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by the demands in your life. Feeling guilty when you maintain a healthy boundary. Experiencing few positive emotions and any signs or symptoms of anxiety and or depression. What causes people-pleasing? If you've recognized yourself in my short description of the signs of too much people-pleasing, the next question to ask yourself is, what is people-pleasing helping me to avoid? We often think of people-pleasing as an expression of kindness, that people-pleasers are people who are just too nice. And in a way, that's true. But this explanation also overlooks the fact that people-pleasing is a protective or defense mechanism that's unhelpful, an attempt at trying to avoid experiencing something that is uncomfortable. Most often, we try to avoid confrontation or an unfavorable response from the other person by people-pleasing. We want to avoid upsetting someone by our choices. We want to avoid real or fantasized abandonment and rejection. But the main thing that we actually want to avoid by people-pleasing are the uncomfortable emotions that go along with setting boundaries in people-pleasers. They don't have to be there, but they're there for people pleasers whenever they set a boundary. And that's shame, guilt, anxiety, sadness. Seen in this light, too much people pleasing is an unhelpful defense and coping mechanism. Seen in this light, too much people pleasing not only says, I want you to be happy, but also, I don't want to get hurt. To get out of this trap, it's helpful to change the way you think about setting boundaries and saying what you think and expressing your desires, wishes, and needs. These behaviors aren't selfish and they're not dangerous for relationships. In fact, they're part of healthy relationships. To stop people-pleasing in an excessive way, we sometimes have to make room for uncomfortable emotions and interactions in the short term so that we can be happy, healthy, and feel emotionally connected long term. And to do all of this, to change the way you think about setting boundaries and expressing your thoughts and needs, it's helpful to understand your own personal people-pleasing story. No one is born a people pleaser. Excessive people-pleasing is something that we learn, which luckily means that we can also unlearn it. Here are some childhood circumstances that teach people-pleasing, intentionally and unintentionally. Both or one of your parents was or is a people-pleaser. They modeled people-pleasing to you from early on and taught you that harmony and keeping a forced peace is important, and that short-term difficult conversations are dangerous, horrible, or not allowed. Your parents were very strict. They enforced rigid rules on you and expected you to obey and subjugate yourself to their perspective and demands, with little space for individuality or constructive negotiation. You grew up in circumstances that put you in the position of being the caretaker. This commonly happens with parents that are addicts, but it can also happen with parents that are sick or dependent. Your parents or caretakers were, or still are, emotionally immature. They defined closeness in relationships in a way that put you in a position of not being allowed to have age-appropriate boundaries. Your parents made fun of, ridiculed, or in other ways belittled or stopped your early attempts at autonomy and authenticity. When someone grows up in these kinds of psychological environments, what they learn as core beliefs about themselves, about relationships and other people is, I need to please others. I don't have a say. I don't matter. There's nothing I can do except tolerate and submit to what the other person wants. Relationships are something that I have to tolerate. I can't co-create them. How to stop people-pleasing. If you want to leave your pattern of people-pleasing behind, start looking for the ways in which you're keeping it in place. That's narratives, the stories that you're telling yourself about what's going on, and behavior, the things you choose to do and choose not to do. And then work on those narratives and behaviors that feed people-pleasing step by step. Stop telling yourself it's not a big deal. Allow yourself to see how difficult people-pleasing is making your life. Start observing the responses of your body, mind, and emotions in different situations. The responses of your body, mind, and emotions are the place where authenticity and boundaries start. They inform you about what you want and what you don't want, what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. So what do you feel drawn to? What do you feel repelled by? Then start talking about what you've learned about yourself to other people. Let them know, allow them to see what interests you, what doesn't, what you want and what you don't want. Most likely, this change will at the least surprise the people in your life that got to know you as a people pleaser. And for some, it may also take some getting used to this new way of life for you. If someone doesn't immediately understand or act on your suggestions and requests, don't respond to that by shutting up about it. Due to your past, you will underestimate your ability to influence the other person and the relationship. Remind yourself, I'm important. My health matters. I can get this across if I stay persistent. Repeat yourself. Ask to talk about solutions instead of explanations and defenses. Keep at it. Learn to make room for uncomfortable emotions. If you want to make this change happen, you do need to go through uncomfortable conversations and emotions at times. If you do it, you'll learn and teach yourself that you can hold space for these experiences. And you'll get better and better at doing that too. And you'll see how good it feels long term when you've reclaimed your life and vitality. Stop allowing others to treat you badly or neglectfully. Stop expecting and creating domination by your immediate and exaggerated submissive behavior. Stop suppressing and repressing your irritation and anger. Stop handing over the control over your life to others. It's your life, not theirs. If you'd like to reflect more on this whole topic, check out my boundaries playlist and the list of suggested next videos to watch in the description box of this video. Check out my weekly self-leadership email newsletter. And if you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. Till next time, take care. And remember, you matter.